Another colourful eye look, but I'm also going to show you not only how to do the eyes, but also the skin. In my last colourful makeup video, someone did comment saying, can you please include the skin routine? So that's exactly what I've done. But this is the eye look right here. Gorgeous red pink copper tone. I am using the purple red side of the Plouise A Droplet of Magic palette. So that's why I've chose to do this look, because I want to try and create as many looks for you on the different colour sections of that palette. But if you want to know how to do this makeup look, do please stay tuned. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Like, I can't believe I'm in the 1000 club. It hasn't fully sunk in, but I am absolutely over the moon. Yeah, and let's just get into the video. Realistically, was I going to use any other base than the Plouise base? So obviously I'm going in with this, popping it all over my lid, and this is in shade 0.5. I've got to be honest, I do find that the shade 0.5 is always a little bit more drying in comparison to the other shades she does in this base. I always find that with more paler shades, they just seem a little bit more drier. I don't know what it is. It used to happen a lot with foundation. It's gotten a lot better now, but I do still find in concealers or in bases, the paler shades just seem to be a little bit more crusty, we'll call it. Once you're happy with your base, you're going to then move on to the eyeshadows. So the shadow palette we're using is the Droplet of Magic again from Plouise, and this is the side that we're going to be using. So taking the eyeshadow of Vampire Kiss, you're going to take this on a small fluffy brush, and you're going to place this slightly above the crease. We want to make sure that we can see all these colours, and I'm just quickly creating the shape of the eyeshadows and how I want them to sit. So as you can see, I wanted to create a more rounded look with this, and then I took that same eyeshadow and filled it in all over the lid. I actually didn't quite know what I was doing with this look. I was sort of just winging it and seeing how it went. What I also done was just slightly fluff the edges of Vampire Kiss before going in with this second eyeshadow, Red Handed, which is a gorgeous, rich, I would say it's more like a blood red meets fire engine red, and we're doing a 50-50 action. 50% of the brush on the old eyeshadow Vampire Kiss and 50% on the new skin, and we're going to buff those two shadows together. I don't know why I picked my eyebrow up, because as you can see in a minute, I let it go and it made no blind bit of difference anyway. But anyway, once I've buffed those edges out with Red Handed, I went back in with Vampire Kiss, back in with Red Handed, back in with Vampire Kiss, back in with Red Handed, until I was really happy with the blend of both eyeshadows, not just together, but all the way up to the eyebrow and around. It's pretty easy when you're doing a round eye shape to get that blend and not to have to worry about it going wrong, because it will look good if you just trust the process and blend, blend, blend. Now, you could just leave it here. As you can see, it looks absolutely gorgeous, but I couldn't. I really had been eyeing up, layering up the copper shade. Slay the game. So I took this on the Mitchell Acid Rain Plouise brush, and I started to pack that all over the lid on top of Vampire Kiss. And then I took that brush I used for Vampire Kiss and just also like buffed it up over to where we placed the original brush and the original creation of Vampire Kiss. I then took a fluffy brush with a tiny bit of Slay the Game and patted it on top of it as well, just so it blended into Vampire Kiss, which then merged in with Red Handed. The inner corner, I mixed two shades, What Lies Below, which is like a gold shade, and then Wicked, which is a pink iridescent shade. So it created almost like a pink, purple, rose goldy shade to the inner corner of the eye. I then cleaned up underneath, popped my Plouise base on, and then I started to do exactly what I did on the top, but underneath. So what goes up must come down. So we took Vampire Kiss on a pencil brush and started to create the underneath of the eye. There is no wrong way of getting this. You are going to get this right. But as you can see, you might spot a little bit of black. I did do something else. I wasn't planning on this. I wanted to do something else, and I thought, no, we're going to keep it simple. So I've done Vampire Kiss, and then once I was happy with that, I buffed it out with a small fluffy brush with Red Handed, went back in with Vampire Kiss, went back in with Red Handed, really merged the eyeshadows from the top to the bottom, and then I went in with the black eyeshadow called Drop Me In It, and I used this on a flat liner brush so we could just tight line the lash line. I then went back in with Vampire Kiss, back in with Red Handed, and then I took Slay the Game on a fluffy brush and just started to layer that on top of what was underneath. And then I just took a clean fluffy brush and buffed out the edges, and that is basically the eyes pretty much done. Obviously, you just need to make sure that the blend is perfect, and the way you're going to do that is by going in with each layer, making sure the blends go back in, go back to the beginning, go through the process, go back to the beginning, and that is how you're going to do it. Once you're happy, pop your lashes on, and then you are going to apply some base around the eye look, because you just want to make sure that this blends well with your foundation. It's only a small amount. I just went round the eye, and then at the very end I'm able to just buff in the fluffy brush that was clean so that it all sort of merges together. So as you can see, buffs in really nicely, and this is what both eyes look like. Then I started on the skin, starting off with one of my absolute favourite products in the world, which is the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. This is in shade 902, and I'm just popping that all over my face. Now, I do normally just put this on with my hands, but I obviously felt like being a little bit extra and applying it with a brush. I then wanted to apply the Maybelline Skin Tint. Now, the reason why I wanted to use this was it's what I used in the last Colourful makeup tutorial look, and it was when you asked for me to show you the skin. So this is the Maybelline Skin Tint. I am obsessed. It creates the most amazing gorgeous cover on the skin. It's so lightweight, you can't really feel it. You literally can build this up to be anything you want. Do not sleep on this. If you like a skin tint but you also like a foundation, give this a go. I promise you, it's so buildable and the coverage is absolutely amazing. I wore this in Hong Kong and my friend was like, how is your makeup still perfect? And I was like, that's that Maybelline Skin Tint. And she was like, it hasn't budged. And if you know Hong Kong heat and humidity, you know what I'm talking about. It was next level. Think Florida, but on steroids. Like, no words of a lie. So yeah, 100% recommend the Maybelline Skin Tint. This is actually slightly too dark for me. I do need to pick up some more paler shades, but I have run out. So once I'd applied that with the brush, I then wanted to use a damp beauty blender. I just find that using a damp beauty blender makes the foundation or skin tint, whatever you want to call it, blend into the skin so much better. You get to pick up off any excess that you just don't want. And I just find that I prefer the finish with a damp beauty sponge, and I also like it to be ice cold so it cools my skin down underneath and it just makes my skin feel really, really nice. Keeping with the Maybelline theme, I went in with the Maybelline concealer. Now, I go between loving this concealer and hating it, and I've come to the conclusion it's the applicator that I cannot stand. I actually quite like the concealer, but the applicator just, oh my god, it just sends me through a loop. I can't bear it. So I applied the concealer where I wanted it. As you can see, I did put quite a bit in that centre. I wanted to create a little bit of light, a little bit of, you know, natural contouring before going in with my contour. So then I chose to pop my contour on, used the NYX one. Obviously, this is in shade Fair. It's my absolute favourite. I love this for a budget-friendly version of the Amber one from Fenty. This one actually suits my skin nicer, and I do think it blends better, and it's cheaper. So yeah, always recommend this one. Then I just started to buff out the concealer in the centre of my forehead. I just choose to buff out my concealer as and how I like. Sometimes I go in straight away on the chin, then the forehead. It doesn't really matter, but I do always leave the eyes till last. Now, I was happy with the coverage, but I just wanted a little bit more. So I do end up going in with just that little bit more concealer in a minute, because I just felt like it needed it, especially with such a dominant eye. This is where you need your face to be full glam. You can't really do bare minimum makeup with a full eye look. You can, and if it works for you, it works for you. But if it doesn't, it might just be that you need a full glam skin routine. Like, that's just what you need. And I also love the Vive concealers, but it just felt like using something different. This is really light, but it's got a really nice coverage. It's just that applicator. I don't know what it is. It feels like you're putting plastic on your face. It's horrendous. As you can see, the NYX contour stick just blends out like an absolute dream. Always has done, always will. I don't pick any particular brush up. I go in with any brush that's handy. One thing I'm terrible for doing though lately is I keep forgetting to blend out the contour that I put underneath my nose. I just find like that creates a little bit of shape. I don't like contouring my nose. If you're wondering why I don't do the sides of my nose and things, I've never particularly liked any contour on my nose. I'm not a big fan of my nose, so sometimes with the contour I feel like it accentuates certain things and then it diminishes other things, or it diminishes one thing and then accentuates something else. So I just prefer to leave contour in my nose because I'm just never happy with it, to be quite honest with you. Once I blended all that out with the brush, I then went in again with the beauty sponge as always. This is the Eco one, which I think is fab. I then went in with the JACLYN Hill Pink Under Eye Bright straight away on a brush and started to buff that into my under eyes and into the eyeshadow. As you can see, I then took a clean, fluffy brush and just buffed the eyeshadow into that pink powder. Then I used my Givenchy. I couldn't be bothered going to get my Givenchy big powder, so this is the travel one. Just popped that all over the eye area just to get that in place before going in with the Pixie on the glow stick. Now, this is the pink shade, and tell me this isn't beautiful. These On The Glow sticks are amazing. Now, I'm not a giant fan of the On The Glow bronzer. I am a massive fan of the On The Glow blushes though. I use these all the time. I have them, the orange, the pink and the red, and they are just amazing. I then set them with the Givenchy powder. I promise you, set that cream blush before you go in with your powder blush. It's going to keep it in place. Now, what I do is I pack that powder on and then I buff it out. This is going to stop, because you packed it on, that's going to stop the foundation underneath from moving or any other products from moving. And then once you've packed that on and you've patted it in, you can then go in with a clean fluffy brush, and that's going to get rid of any excess and really work that powder into the skin. You don't want to rub the skin first. You want to either tap it in with the brush or tap it in with your powder puff. Then I went in with a bit of more of the Givenchy powder underneath the eyes, as well as a touch of the JACLYN Hill on a powder puff. And then I'm using the Superdrug spray. This is the Hydrating Vitamin E spray. I love it. I just wanted to give the skin a new lease of life. Then I bronzed using the Beauty Bay Form Bronzer, and then I blushed using the Beauty Bay Bitten Blush. Do not sleep on these blushes and bronzers. They are so close to the MAC formula. It's unbelievable. Then I used the Rare Beauty Mesmerized highlighter, which I'm absolutely obsessed with, and the JACLYN Hill Glow Face Powder. I don't really see the point in honing in on the JACLYN Hill products because she has closed the company, but these products were amazing. The under eye bright and the face highlighting powder was just stunning. Then I went in with a brown Primark liner. Unfortunately, this is one that I picked up randomly and it doesn't have a name and they don't sell it anymore. And then I went in with a pink toned gloss. This is the Floss Beauty AHL, I think it's called. I've linked everything down below. And that is the finished eye look. My eye on this side is ready to water. Sometimes I just have them days. I do think the pollen count is quite high today. This is the finished eye look, including the skin, but I think this is gorgeous. I feel like the copper really sets it off, but I'm going to be honest, you didn't need that copper first. That first shadow is absolutely stunning on its own. Just a full smoke in that, a matte smoke with a nice pair of lashes is enough. But obviously I wanted to show you how to use a few more eyeshadows than just the bog standard ones. And if you're wondering, why do you keep featuring that palette in your videos? I don't believe in overconsumption. You need to be using the palettes you buy. Don't let them just sit there and go to waste. I love my eyeshadow palettes, and the ones I love I use all the time, both personal and on clients. And it just makes sense to reach for the same palette all the time, because I don't see why we should be over-consuming. We're in a cost of living crisis. Life is expensive enough. Let's use those palettes and create as many looks as we possibly can. I will be bringing back the Beauty Bay Smoky Eyeshadow, the Natasha Denona that I absolutely love, the 90s palette from Vive, the Be Perfect palette. I still have all of those, and I'm going to be using them to create these colourful looks, because I want to create as many as I can for you and just show you that these palettes are not a one-time purchase. You can use them all the time if you're willing to be creative with your eye looks. So yeah, that's why I keep featuring that palette in the video. But yeah, this is the eye look. This is the skin. By the way, the Maybelline skin tint, you can layer and layer and layer, and it just doesn't feel like you've got foundation on. It is such a nice skin. I can't speak now. I cannot speak, and I've got another video to film. It is such a nice skin tint that meets foundation. It definitely builds to a foundation, but it can be worn as a skin tint. And as you can see, it just looks absolutely stunning on the skin. It makes your skin look airbrushed, obviously, as well as all your other products added together. But it can build really nicely and not feel cakey or sit in fine lines and wrinkles as easy as a foundation would. And that's what's so nice about that skin tint. So that's this look done. I hope you like it. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. I really do appreciate it. I can't believe we're in the 1,000 club. Like, that is just insane to me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.